Hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to another tutorial. Today we will be checking out vellum grains, but with a little twist. We will check vellum grains kind of tear effect and render out. At first I was thinking that we will be rendering out the constraints, but then actually there's this little trick with the connect adjacent pieces, and yeah, you will see all of that. But yeah, this is heavily inspired by this effect by Josef Pelz, and tearing. I assume he's tearing vellum cloth. Also, I think Edwin Sindrak used kinda similar technique for these bubbles there, but yeah. No, I think he's just inflating. But anyhow, this is a really cool work by Edwin Sindrak. And also, I think this procedural opium poppy, yeah, that's spectacular. But yeah, so we will be focusing more on grains. Check out how we can set different parts of the grains being more kind of rigid and some of them being more or easier to break. But anyhow, we start with the geo. We drop the geo here. So this one is grain tier inside live tutorial, and it means that you will get, in this case, there are 4 files because I did a few different versions. And if you are multi-solver, you get all these 4 files, right? With a resources folder with that wedge alembic file, and you will get this file, which is live right now. Do whatever you want with these files, except don't resell, don't make me sad. All the other use cases, feel free to do whatever you want. But yeah, in my resources folder, I have my special alembic, which is called here in the resources. We have the watch ABC. So this one is from the GrabCAD, I think, and I have a tutorial on Patreon how you can create an effective and beautiful wireframe for your mesh. You can see that I dropped the convert node. You can see that it's pretty good quadrilateral grid here. So yeah, obviously this watch is very big, around 500 units or meters or whatever we have here. So let's drop mesh size. We can probably do 5 by 5 by 5 or something like that, and nothing happens. Yeah, right, correct, absolutely correct, because we haven't checked the scale to fit. Boom, and it's gone. Now it's 555. Probably can transform and rotate it 90 here and 90 this axis. And are we in a correct direction? Yep, we are. Cool. Here's our base shape that we will be working with. We can probably drop null and say that we have out watch here. So layout, align nodes vertically. Nope. How it was? I always distribute nodes vertically. Yeah, I always forgot how to do that properly. But yeah, now, so imagine like we will make the grains here, right? But I want to make something that will kinda tear them from the inside. So I want to spawn some shapes inside of this watch. Let's try create a circle. Then we obviously want to flip it to, oh yeah, of course, we want to highlight this and show this YZ plane, sorry, uniform scale, and you want to go with 1 2 3 4 is the number for the right view, and it's divisions 120, so it's smooth. Let's see if we are, yeah, you know, I mean, we want to be in the middle of that watch there, something like this, I think. Yeah, we also wanna, kind of want to create the shape of the tube, you know, so poly extrude. Yeah, you could probably just use tube, but yeah, never mind. So distance, make it like this, transform to make it sit a bit deeper in the watch. So nope, this should be 0, and translate, yeah, we want to move it slightly back, and then we can kinda extrude it also a bit. In the poly extrude, we don't actually need front, we just need this part here. Yeah, probably wanna get it centered in our watch. So yeah, probably like this. Cool. All right. And now interesting part begins. So I want to create a group. We don't need our watch anymore. We will be just working with this here. So yeah, let's maybe create the pop network first, and then we will talk about these groups. So I wanna create a popnet, and I wanna use grains in popnet, but not developed grains, just regular grains, pop grains. So I can spawn little spheres here, and when these spheres spawn, they will actually cause a little bit of explosion inside of the watch. So we plug this transform here into the pop network, and you probably can see all these points. But here's the thing: we will be using emission type points in the source, and now you can see that we are spawning points only on the one and like the first and the last edges. So probably we should go back to the poly extrude and add a few divisions so it looks kinda even, and we have the grid, rectangular grid here. Now let's go into the popnet and configure it. So source first input, as I said, it should be points, emission type points, geometry source, use first context geometry. For the burst, right now constant burst rate, I would set it at 100, not more. And yeah, right now let's just play and see what we get. Yeah, we have a lot of points that are getting spawned on our shape that we brought into the pop solver. What I want here is add pop grains, and for the pop grains I have a few things to do here in this parameters here. We want to enable clumping, so 1 and stiffness should be 1 million. Yeah, right, 1 million for the stiffness. Particle separation, constraint durations. You can set the constraint durations to something like 30 maybe. And right now, if we start adding more of these, so source first input, let's set it to 1000, you will probably see how these grains, no, you won't see actually anything because we forgot a thing here. Attributes wrangle, geometry wrangle. Okay, so run over points, that's cool. P scale equals 0.01. For example, just for example, P scale will be 0.01. And also this little cool hack to make it a bit more organic, and I found this on Doxia Studio YouTube channel. He was doing some sort of grain infection video too, and this is a very cool trick. So you basically want to set the velocity to be equal 0, and yeah, maybe let's set the P scale to be 0.1. It will be better to see. But yeah, here's the thing. Here's how we populate our shape with all these grains, you know, and you can see they are really kind of growing, and it looks really organic. So the only thing here in the P scale, I wanna randomize the size of these spheres that we will be spawning as grains. So fit01 with a random seed from pt num, somewhere in the range of 0.02 and 0.09. I think it will be the thing that we want. So yeah, maybe let's check how it looks now. We can select this pop network here and drop the copy to points here and drop the sphere. Yeah, cool. So here you can see how it looks, and we have a few issues here. First of all, we wanna scale our sphere that we are using as a template here, and you can see that we have some issues with the solver. So let's go back into the pop network. For the pop grains, this is all because of this. It's assumed uniform radius, and heck no, we are not using uniform radius. We are using some random value from 0.02 to 0.09. So yeah, assume uniform radius, definitely check that checkbox out. I mean, it should not be checked. In the pop solver, min substeps set to 2 and max substeps set to 4 usually helps a lot. And also, I don't think that we actually need to spawn thousands of these each time. I think I actually went for like 100 or something, and let's check how it looks right now. So yeah, looks much better here. Yeah, looks pretty good, I think. But now you will see that if we have our watch here, it will explode in different points, you know. It will be exploding in all of the things where we have our spheres. And By the way, I think we can go with a bit bigger spheres. So 0.04 and 0.12 I think will be better. Yeah, something like this. Okay, now the thing is, I wanna start at some points and go up. So I wanna create a group for all my points to spawn on. So I have my group here. Let's call it spawn. Group type set to points. Keep in bounding regions should be enabled. And here I wanna make sure I select it, and we can remove this watch preview again. So let's go for the size. It should be fairly large. No, yeah. Oh, all right. So you will see right now. So it should be kind of narrow like this. We can even start with 0 at frame 0, frame 1 actually, and at frame 150 it should be like this. But now you will see that we are kind of targeting all of them, and at frame 90 I don't want my spheres to be spawned here. It's better to visualize it. It's very easy to do. Just in source first input in source group, you can choose the group spawn. And now if we go to the copy to points, you will see that we are spawning our particles, our points. You can see where the group is expanding, and we are also spawning our points to the newly added to the group points of the mesh. But you can see that because we start here, we have much more of these spheres in this area rather than this area. And to make it kind of consistent, I want to do the following. So I want to go with another group. I just copied that group spawn. I can enable it. Let's remove the keyframes for now, and let's make it, for example, height. Let's make it 1. And you wanna, here in the initial merge, you wanna choose not the replace existing, but subtract from existing. So how it works, at the frame 1, we actually have it at 0. But then at frame 150, we wanna have it at, let's say, 3.7. So it's basically just these two or 3 rows here. And now you can see how it actually is difficult to see right now, and this is because we have the easing on both of these groups enabled. So what we want to do is go here in the graph animation editor, graph view, hit Command A or Control A and press H. We see that we have the ease Bezier curves, so we want to create linear curves out of them, and now it should probably work. And if it doesn't, I think it will be better if at frame 10 it will be still 0, and yeah, then there will be a bit more difference. And yeah, now you can really see how it goes there. Yeah, maybe at frame 20 it should even be 0. Let's check it out here. Yeah, I think this will work a bit better, so we have a bit more active group points here. So yeah, let's check how it looks here. So right now it looks like this, and it's not that bad, I would say, right? Just in the popnet, here's one trick. So you see that we have a lot of particles here, and then it's not that dense right here. So what we can do is spawn a little particles right now at the beginning, and then add a lot of them into as we go through the simulation. How it would look if I go with a, let's say, constant burst rate 50 or even like 20 plus $f multiplied by 2. So basically at frame 30 it will be 20 plus 60, because it will be 30 multiplied by 2 plus 20 as our constant. So yeah, let's see what we get here. Oh, not so bad. Look at that. Yeah, we definitely, now we have a lot more particles spawning to the end of the simulation here. So yeah, I think we can go with this one. So this is how it actually looks right now, so you can see how it grows. Cool. So now we will be using that as a collision to our grains. What I want to do is VDB from polygons is the thing that I want to do now. So it looks really organic to me. VDB smooth SDF also will make it even more organic, but it should be mean curvature flow in the operation, and operations could be just 2 operations. It will be enough. But yeah, this looks really cool. But you know, right now it's like it's growing, but it's growing very rapidly, and I'm not using the retime here, but just for your just a quick tip that I can give you. So here in the retime, you can go to the volumes, and here by voxel position, scale velocities should be checked, and interpolation, I found the cubic would be the most organic one, and we can set the speed to be 0.5, and we can go then convert, or I actually wasn't converting it to the polygons, but it looks pretty organic when it's real time. And we probably can just create a new flipbook and just very roughly render out these frames, so you can see how actually really like wobbly and yeah, again, organic all of these VDB spheres look like right now. So even here you can see how, you know, there's no like really abrupt movements, and despite of them like expanding pretty fast, but it still looks so smooth and organic to me. I mean, I think you can simulate a lot of like, I don't know, biological or some life form growing with this retime of the VDB. But yeah, we don't need retime for this one. We just wanna add null and call it, for example, out collider VDB. All right, so now we have our collider. It's done. What we want to do is, I think we can go with grains right now, right? So grain source is what we need after our out watch. You can go with a points operation at 0.04. I would say it will be enough for just like a quick test. Source type, geometry, construction methods, dense grid. I don't know what else we need here. Of course, we need jitter scale because we don't want it to be like so uniform. Then relax durations. Yeah, I think all is default right now. Vellum constraints, grains. Come on, Vellum configure grains, sorry, not constraints. So just plug it here in the Vellum constraints grains. I usually remove the display as spheres. Let me show you one cool little thing that you should do here. So in the grain source, go to the point separation, right click on the point separation text, and there will be a copy parameter thing. Click on the copy parameter, and here in the particle size, paste relative references. And if everything is done correctly, you will see that there is no overlap in your grains anymore. And yeah, you can basically remove the display as spheres and add sprite material. You actually don't need that. And then 2 nulls. So one of them being out geo, and another one, and we plug the constraints into that, out con. Cool. So I think we are ready to go into the DOP network and set our Vellum grain tiering stuff. You know, the only thing that we wanna talk about here is this attribute called, actually, it's basically here traction weight. There is a traction stiffness and traction weight, and you kind of want to set them to be the same value. In my case, it kind of works. So, and we want to set it with noise. So attribute noise, but noise float goes here, and in the attribute names, and I will explain you a bit later what this attribute stiffness and attribute weight does, but attribute names should be attribute stiff. Oh, not the attribute, traction stiffness, and at traction weight. At traction stiffness, traction weight, right, correct. And now color to visualize our parameters from attribute at traction weight. Cool. Yeah, you probably can see that we have a bit of noise here in my color. So basically, where the traction stiffness is 0, these particles, these grains, are not sticking to each other at all. Where the traction stiffness is 1, these particles stick together like to their lives. I mean, you won't be able to detach them from each other at any cost, and the only thing where they will detach, it will be when the solver is not capable of solving the the physics at that frame. So what we want to do here is noise type should be, I set it to sparse convolution, element size 0, 1 to 0.1. Yeah, warping, fractal, I don't think that we need it actually. Just the only thing is output raw value, I think we can keep it, but it should be, range values should be min and max, because I don't want some of the particles to be completely free and some of the particles sticking to each other and nothing can break these particles apart. So I suggest you going from 0.04 as the minimum to the 0.8 as maximum. So we kind of leave that gap. I'm not sure how to better visualize it. Maybe if I go into the color and I just get these really close to each other, now you can probably see all the points that are black are not gonna stick to each other and all the white ones will actually stick to each other. And basically how it will look in the simulation, that basically this chunk here, chunk of the white particles will be, or it can basically fly away because these particles, these black particles here, they are not actually kind of connected to these white particles because we have attraction stiffness so low at this point here, and also at this point here, and this point here, and where like all the black points, they are not attracted to each other that much. All right, so yeah, I think we can set the dop network right now. So drop the dop network and let's go inside, and it will be pretty straightforward here. So Vellum object is here, and we need Vellum solver to plug that Vellum object in, and Vellum solver goes to the output, and then we have Vellum source, right? So we drag the source, plug it into the post solve, into the right input of the Vellum solver. Subpass here should be pointing to the out geo. Constraint subpass should be pointing to the out con, and of course our static object, our collider, merge it with the Vellum solver, plug the static object here. Don't forget that static object should be from the left side in your merge, and Vellum solver plugged into the right side of your merge. In the static object, use deforming geometry, use object transform, create active object, should be checked. Subpass should be pointing to out collider VDB. In the collisions, collision detection should be use volume collisions, mode should be volume sample, division method should be by size. In the proxy volume, you wanna point to that same out collider VDB. And yeah, probably display geometry can be unchecked. Just use the collision guide here. So yeah. Oh, of course, we forgot to go into the Vellum solver, to the advanced tab, to the collisions. Nope, to the grain collisions. Assume uniform radius. That can stay here because these are uniform, right? Attraction weight should be 1 and attraction should be 10. That's correct. And for the substeps, let's go with 2 substeps and 300 for constraint iterations. Let's check what we got here right now. So, yay! Cool, it works. Look at that. First try and it works. So yeah, you can see how these grains actually explode, they fly away. I think it's a bit too dramatic, you know, how they fly away. So maybe we can just drop a pop drag here and plug it into the middle input particle forces. Our resistance set to yeah, I used 1. Yeah, let me just simulate 150 frames and see what do we get here. So I think we have a bit of an issue here. So yeah, it explodes, that's correct, but then our collider just moves our grains to the top and we don't have any explosion here. And I don't think that that thing that it moves up is looking cool. I don't think so. Yeah, probably we will need to do a few things here. So we want to go to the Vellum before the Vellum constraints, and we want to create a few groups. So I want to call that group attach, and it should be point group points. Now I want to drop some boxes and a merge, and box should be, we want to work with 2 boxes at the same time, and this merge goes into the group, into the attached group. And keep in bounding regions, we check enable, and bounding objects should be checked. So now if we highlight the group 3 group attach, we will see our two boxes here. Now we wanna move them up just a little bit, and then we wanna move one box to the right here and another one to the left, like this. Now we wanna copy these boxes and plug them into the merge again. But these new boxes that we copied, I wanna move it down so it's targeting these two slots here, or how do you call that, those thingies. So these will be the points that are constantly attached in place. They should be in place, and now we shouldn't have any floating of our watch here. For the vellum constraints, nope, actually let's go into the .NET, and now we wanna constraints, vellum constraints, we want to drop the vellum constraints. So here creation constraints should be each frame, constraint type should be attached to geometry, group type should be points, target group type should be points, target path should be no, target group, we don't have it here. So it means that this group should go here and it should not be attached to the vellum constraints grains. So now let's go drop a null and call it out attach. Now let's go into the .NET work. Target path should be out attach, target group should be attached. Cool. Or actually, oh shit, no, we don't need that. And we even don't need this group here. We just need these boxes. Boom. Because we are attaching to the different, it's called attached to geometry. It's not called attach like pin target points, you know. We are just attaching our points that we have there. We are just attaching to that group. So max distance, we can check that. Sliding rate should be unchecked. Max distance should be 0.05 to 1, whatever. I think 0.5 is what I used there. And yeah, let's check how it looks right now. So again, simulate 150. I think it looks a bit better. We can make this max distance here bigger. So let's try 0.15 instead of 0.05. Yeah, I think this looks a bit better. Yeah, it still goes up a bit, but yeah, I think if we won't see our collider, and if you don't want to see your collider here in the .NET, in the objects, just remove that little sign and then just in the drop down select the vellum object, and now you will just see your vellum object, which is looking pretty good, I would say. You probably want to cache it out, but yeah, it's pretty great simulation here, I would say. Yeah, that explosion. Yeah, this looks cool. You can experiment, maybe add a bit of wind, you know, maybe some other forces, whatever you like here. But the thing that I want to talk about here is how to render it out, not as particles or points, but as that cool kind of wireframe looking mesh. So connect adjacent or adjacent or whatever it's called in English, because English is not my native and I'm sorry for all the grammar and lexical and all the other mistakes I make, but connect adjacent, this node, connect adjacent pieces is what we need. We plug the .NET work in the connect adjacent pieces. Of course it won't work because connection type should be adjacent points, and assume uniform radius can be checked. Only thing maybe color, let's make it white. Here search radius, just make it larger until it works. Boom, at search radius 1.1 it actually works. Max search points, we can keep it low at like 20 or something, and yeah, then probably attribute blur to make it look more organic, you know. Attribute blur, pin border points unchecked, blurring iterations 2, step size 0.3, we don't need much because we want to keep the shape. And you know, right now it's not that dense. 2 ways to make it look dense is upping the search radius to 1.4, 1.5 in my case. Maybe max search radius could be 100. No, actually max search radius doesn't do much. It should be, yeah, you see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and actually, yeah, after 20 I don't think that it changes that much. And yeah, basically that's your very basic configuration. You can see right now, like boom, how how organic that looks actually. Yeah, yo, look at that, look at that. That's some nice tearing effect. And want to make it a bit more cooler, right? Because we have a bunch of attributes. So we have all the VLAS, target VP scale, overlap external, has previous hit, normal hit num. Let's use velocity. So attribute wrangle, we wanna make our velocity integer or actual float. So f at fv, so float velocity equals velocity. And now this float velocity can be used for coloring. Yo, this will be really cool right now. So ramp from attribute fv. Let's see what velocity we actually have here. So geometry spreadsheet is what we need. And now find the fv. fv goes from at like 150 or no, actually like 130. So it goes from minus something to minus something. No, it goes from -1 to 2. And here it goes from minus, yeah, I think the biggest value is around -1 and 2. So for the color, we don't want to go to -1. We're just gonna start from 0. And range here, it should be, as we saw, the biggest value of fv is around 2. So the range of the color will be 0 and 2. And attribute ramp, I want to use this inferno. Yeah, this inferno here. And now, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So it glitches in the beginning. So you either can go to the wrangle and then you can write down that initially your fv equals 0, so everything is black. And then if at frame is more, and this glitch in the first frames is just because the attraction, when you start simulating, the attraction kind of sucks all the particles closer to each other, and that's why there's this glitch with the velocity. So if the frame is more than 10, your fv is v. So now if I play this simulation, boom, only at the frame 10 something happens. Or I mean, we start seeing colors that are driven by our velocity. Here, you know what, I wanna kind of arrange these little sliders here. Maybe the range should be to 1, so we have more of this yellowish color. Yeah, like that. I think you can manually just tweak these. And to make the colors also look more natural and organic, I again use attribute blur with pin border points unchecked, and attributes here I'm setting to CD. And blurring iterations, look how different is for example 1 blurring iteration and 10 blurring iterations. Oh, yep, you don't see it because we haven't enabled attribute blur. So again, 1 blurring iteration, 2 blurring iterations, 3 blurring iterations, and so on. If I set it to be like 20, it's all blurred out. So maybe just 1 blurring iteration. Yeah, you see, here's the difference I'm trying to get here. And yeah, null out here or something. And yeah, now let's get back to this view, because I just want to set the camera, and it's hard to set the camera when it's all black. But on the other side, I can press D here and select the background to be gray, and now save as default. And now I see my watch here with this. God damn it, it looks so beautiful here. I don't know, I mean, really, I like this a lot. Maybe we want to add a bit more, connect adjacent pieces like this. 1/8. Yeah, even better. So let's go here and add camera. Want to make my camera vertical, of course. 1080 by 1920. Focal length 120, I think. Yeah. And now just zoom the hell out of here. And yeah, I think maybe sort of some sort of this angle might look cool. I was rendering something like this, I think. But yeah, anyhow, want to set the materials. So material network, and also a slide dome with my trusty brown photo studio. Saturation set to 0, environment set to nothing, backplate nothing, enable and viewports also unchecked, and I remember it was just 50 in Y. There should be a backdrop, you know, the backplate, the background for the reflections, but I don't think that it's that necessary in this project. What I only thing that I want to do now is add new pen tab type, redshift render view. And before we start rendering it out, we wanna of course go to the geo, redshift obj, strands, render object as strands, set the strand type to be cylinder, max tesselation 2 is enough, global scale multiplier 0.03 or even 0.1, visibility, proxy settings, of course we wanna match deformation blur from velocity attribute because we want a lot of motion blur because it's explosions, and explosions without motion blur is just like nothing. Yeah, let's save the project and hope that it will render out. And yep, it works. Look at that. So I think it's a pretty good result here. And now we just wanna create the material. So RS material, and pay attention, I'm not creating RS standard material or something like that, just RS material. And now redshift material as an output node, out color goes to the surface, and let's right now let's set the material for our geo1. So go to the MatNet and redshift material applies. Now we're here back into the MatNet and we will be creating our materials. So I'm just using presets all the time because it's easier. Just create an aluminum preset, roughness set to 0.6, weight of the diffuse channel set to 0.3, and it's sort of a darker gray. For the reflectivity, again set it to something pretty dark, you know, like this one. Yeah, I think that's good. And now we go into the overall, or actually, yeah, let's start with a point attribute, RS point attribute. And the attribute name is CD. It's good. And this out color goes to the overall emission color. But right now you don't see anything because emission weight is set to 0. And now I want to set the emission weight to 10 and probably restart the render, and boom, here is our, whoa, that's beautiful, that glowing part here. Yeah, of course, as I always do, we wanna add some bokeh, probably somewhere here, and COC radius, can probably set it to be 0, come on, 0.3. Yeah. Then for the color controls, you can get your exposure, a bit more exposure. Photographic exposure, I don't think that you should use that photographic exposure, to be honest. You want to use bloom here. Bloom threshold, bloom intensity. Yeah, just a little bit of bloom intensity here and bloom threshold. Yeah, like that. And flare. Do we want a flare? Nope, we don't. Also, of course, in the out redshift ROP, redshift advanced should be enabled, and here motion blur, enable motion blur, deformation blur, instances, particles, deformation. Check everything here and just restart your render. Now we have a subtle motion blur here. Yeah, I think we are pretty good with this one. So maybe you want to tweak the camera or like find different angles, whatever works best for you, but that's essentially how I created this effect of some iron hair strands steering and glowing and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's it for this tutorial, guys. I really hope you learned a lot of new cool tricks today, and if you have any questions at any time, you can reach out to me at our Discord Cozy Play server, in Patreon messages, email. You can try Patreon comments, but Patreon is not that good in like sending notifications, so that's why your comment might slip out of my site. But anyhow, I will be glad to help you out with any questions you have, so please feel absolutely free to reach out. And I will be back with another tutorial next week. Bye!